Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you doing this afternoon? We are so happy to be coming and chatting with you. Very informal. Got my t-shirt on here, got my Scully Sisters t-shirt on and my blue jeans. How are you doing, Dawn?
I am well. We're in the middle of watching White Christmas because it's that time of year and we're enjoying it.
It is that time of year. My husband just sent me a text. He's like, "Are all the presents wrapped?" No.
I wrapped last night. My kids were at a carol sing and I had one kid drive. All the kids were gone, so I got the wrapping done.
Okay, so we're going to a carol sing tonight. And so that'll be fun. But I told him, I'm like, it's going to be tomorrow before presents
Mhm.
get wrapped. But I guess eventually I have to do them. I'm almost to the point where I'm ready to throw them all in one box. All of John's in one box, all of Olivia's in one box, and just here's your box. So it's been quite the holiday with us being sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
we are here today to talk about what we are calling Elevate All Access. And we are super excited. Dawn and I both have been plotting this out for the past couple of months, and we are so excited about this particular program. But we wanted to come on and kind of talk about it a little bit. We might answer some of your questions just in talking about it, but if we don't, feel free to pop your questions down below or submit them to us at info@pambarnhill.com, and then we'll answer your questions for you. Yep.
Yes, for sure. We're always glad to answer your questions. I'm the one in info@pambarnhill.com. So if you have something personal you want to ask or something like that, you're certainly welcome to not publish publicly, but you can send it directly to me, and I will be glad to answer if I can.
Yeah, yeah. And you can also DM Dawn. She's just Dawn
Mm,
Garrett in our Homeschool Better Together community. If you're in there, if you're not in there, why aren't you? Homeschool Better Together, it's a free community for homeschoolers online. And I have nothing to do with it other than paying the bill. So I can say it's a fabulous place to hang out. The ladies have created this really wonderful spot over there. And so you definitely need to be in there, no matter what. Okay, so let's talk about this Elevate All Access is what we are calling it. This is the second year that we've run a program called Elevate, but I have to tell you, we are kind of shifting it significantly. The first year that you do something, you kind of have to look at what you're doing and saying, how is this helping people? How can we make this better and make this more helpful to people? And we feel like we've done a really good job kind of revamping this program a little bit, and we're so excited. So let's talk about the things that it includes. So the very first thing, and we're going to kind of we're going to tell you the old things that it includes, and then we're going to end with kind of what I probably should be leading with, which is the exciting new thing. But anyway, let's start with the old stuff first. So we are going to
okay.
be doing two runs in 2024 of the Homeschool Consistency Bootcamp. Now, you will be able to buy those separately for $59 a piece, or
Mhm.
they are included in Elevate. So if you join Elevate between December 26th and January 5th, I had to look at my calendar over there. You will get the Homeschool Consistency Bootcamp, both run throughs with the Elevate program. And how that works is this is a program that really, it's a live program, right? It's something that we do together, and there are these different components that are going on with it. And so you definitely want to be taking part when we do it. So you do get the spring run, which will be in March, the fall run, which starts about halfway through October and ends before we get into Thanksgiving. And then you get both of those. You get permanent access to the recordings, which is great. But like I said, showing up live is the way to do boot camp. Don't you think, Dawn?
Absolutely. And I think boot camp is one of those things that makes the most difference for so many families in their homeschools. But working through the whole process and coming to the live accountability and doing the check-ins and getting the texts, all of the things work together to really help families be very consistent in their homeschool. And consistency in your homeschooling is one of the keys to making homeschooling
Easy.
function, be pleasant
Yeah.
and enjoyable and fun.
Yeah.
So
If
I,
anytime somebody says to me, I have attitude problems in my homeschool, my very first question is, how is your consistency? You know,
mhm,
it really, really does solve some of those attitude problems, a lot of those attitude problems.
for
Um,
sure. Because if you have your agenda for the day and your kids have their agenda for the day, making those mesh makes a world of difference.
Yeah, yeah. And we show you how to do that. And a lot of times people are concerned about the consistency boot camp. They're like, I'm already struggling in my homeschool. How am I going to have time to do a bunch of other stuff? And what we want to tell you is the consistency boot camp is not a bunch of other stuff. There's a little bit of other stuff where we deal with a little bit of mindset and we create a plan and put it in place, this little plan that you're going to use over the course of this 4-week program that we're doing. There's some Q&As that you can either come to live or listen to, but what you're going to find is if you are already struggling in your homeschool to get things done, the consistency bootcamp, the number one thing that it does is help you build that consistency muscle. And yeah, we ask you to do a few small things, but it's not like we're throwing a bunch of stuff on top that you have to deal with before you can then go use it. You are using it and getting better while
And
you're doing it.
and those things that we ask you to do, they're tools that you're going to want to continue to use.
Yes.
They really do make make it possible for you to keep going consistently even after boot camp is over. I hear from people all the time, boot camp was the thing that really helped us. And one great testimony of that is how many people come back every single time we run boot camp.
Yeah.
That we've run it for years and years. We took a little break, but even people who took it a number of years ago we are all in. We're back. We need just those reminders. The accountability helps. So that's why we wanted to include both runs with the Elevate program,
Yeah.
because the first run is life changing, but every time you do it, it solidifies just that little bit more.
Well, I think you look at like you're in a new place and so you see things in a slightly different way and you learn from it again, but it's also kind of like going to the gym. Sadly, we can't say, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym for 4 weeks and then I'm going to be done and like that's all the only time I'll ever have to go to the gym ever. Like
Mhm,
we wish, right? And that's what boot camp is like, is you come back to it to get just a little bit more and to get just a little more practice and that community and camaraderie, not just
mhm,
community, but
mhm.
camaraderie of everybody doing the same thing. And so, yeah, that was one of the reasons why we definitely wanted to include it in Elevate. So the next thing included in Elevate is our Finishers Club. And as we were thinking about how can we help our Elevate students, like what is one of those things? Because when you think about Elevate, this is like taking your homeschool to the next level, right? It's like, okay, we got the basics down. Maybe we're struggling in some places. We want to raise this homeschool up a little bit. And having regular access to mentors and time that you are consciously, specifically setting aside to work on your homeschool, whether that be planning. A lot of time with Finishers Club, we talk about this is the time to plan for your homeschool, but also things like professional development, grading papers, organizing your schoolroom. What are some things that people have done during Finishers
Oh,
Club?
people definitely do homeschool organization, prep for the next month or semester. Our New York State ladies are writing their quarterly reports that they have to do. They're I some Charlotte Mason moms I know do their mother's journals during that time. I think some moms just say, this is a time when I can tell my husband, hey, I have this meeting that's going to get our homeschool better. And they just get an hour and a half of, I get to focus and have peace because my husband knows that he needs to distract the kids for this hour and a half.
Yeah.
So the people clean out their schoolrooms, people clean out their craft areas, people
File
grade,
their
like you said, grade
papers.
papers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grade papers. A lot of times we'll have people grading papers. But while the little busy work, the busy beaver work is going on, there are also people who just need to ask a question. And we have 4
Mhm.
mentors who run the Finishers Club. And all of those mentors, we have Lainey's a mom of 8, Lena's a mom of 8, Lena from the sibling relationship lab. So we
Mhm.
have this expert, this parenting coach who deals with sibling conflict, who, about 4 times a year during the school year and a few times during the summer is in Finishers Club. So you can say, hey, my kids aren't getting along. What can I do? Don Garrett has 3 kids and has been homeschooling since the beginning of time. I know it feels that way because, me too.
Yeah.
And so just a variety of ladies and mentors, over 40 years of experience. And there's no better way to have ongoing access to be able to just right here, like we are on Zoom, ask a
Mhm.
question and get some help. So Finishers Club is monthly during the school year from September
Mhm.
to April. And then beginning about mid-May, we ramp up our summer planning and we do it every week during the summer. So you're going to have multiple chances to attend live. And then some ladies like to, we've been told that some
We've been
ladies
told.
play the recording and like motion to their family, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting.
Yes.
You know, we won't tell.
So, so we do try to like switch it all up. Not all of the meetings are on Saturday. Not all of the meetings are on Tuesday night. We try to switch it up, and the 4 of us are, we're working busy schedules too. So we're trying to make sure that if it's our schedule, and then there should be plenty of opportunities to fit your schedule. And the recordings are available, so you can absolutely watch the recording. We also timestamp them and
Yeah.
kind of put some notes in about, what questions were asked, what topics did we discuss in this one. So you could even just like look through oh, I would like to know more about such and so, and then just watch that part.
Yes, yeah. Because sometimes
So.
it is a lot of quiet working, and then sometimes
Mhm.
it's asking questions. And so the timestamps are invaluable. You're like, oh, I have a kid who cries every time we do math too. Let me go to that
Mhm.
timestamp and just listen to that part. That's the only part I care about. And that's
Right.
all available in our app. And so you'll be able to access that. And Finishers Club is $49. And so that we've put that into the Elevate All Access program, along with kind of our Finishers Club on steroids, which is our all-day planning day that happens in July, usually about the 3rd weekend of July, we do that.
Mhm.
And then our half-day planning day, which happens between Christmas and New Year's. And so those days just really give you the opportunity, once again, if you can, hire a babysitter, say to the husband, hey, this is the time that I'm really gonna like put my head down and plan my homeschool and get prepared for the semester ahead, because sometimes we have to carve out time and be intentional about when we're going to do that. And because you're doing it with us, it helps you to say, hey, I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to do it then. I'm going to try to power through and get it all done and then just get on with my life.
That half day planning day, I'm planning to actually come and turn off my video for the parts that I'm not working, because like our before the Christmas break just kind of whimpered out, right? It was, so I don't know where we are. I don't know what we need to do. So I need to spend some time that, you know, I- co-working, having somebody else say, okay, work for now, and then take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, work for now. Like having other people who are working too, it just somehow it gives you more impetus to do the things that you need to do.
Oh, yeah. I was
So,
actually meeting with a business group of mine this morning, and I told the ladies, I'm like, hey, if anybody ever wants to co-work, just let me know. I love co-working because I don't know, there's just something about my shared accountability with somebody.
mhm,
Say, hey, for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to be doing this, that I
mhm,
actually like don't get distracted on Facebook or Pinterest or something. I actually
mhm,
get the thing done.
for
So,
sure.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's included as well. Both of those things, the value $24, $18 for the other one. Now, let's get to kind of the fun thing. Uh, we are going to be doing 10 master classes. Hey, Pam, why 10? Why not 12? because there are 2 months out of the year we're going to be working on the consistency boot camp. And when we're doing that, we really want you focusing on the consistency boot camp, right?
Right.
But the other 10 months of the year, we really wanted to give you something good and meaty about how to be a more effective teacher. How do you take kids who are unmotivated, who don't seem to like to learn very much, who always remember everything that they hear on television, but never seem to remember anything that you taught them about math or spelling or history or anything like that? How can we become more effective teachers, more effective at motivating our students so they're less frustrated, we're less frustrated, and we know that we are making an impact on the education of our kids? And so we talked a lot about it. We came up with some different ideas, and we finally settled on, we're going to use the book Why Don't Students Like School by Daniel Willingham, which I read the first edition of this back when I was writing Plan Your Year. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really got me thinking about just different methods of teaching and different things. Now, you're like, well, my kids don't go to school. Really, it should be called Why Don't Students Like Learning? Because most of you are probably like me and you've come up against, like, for whatever reason, kids don't like to learn. So we're going to be doing a chapter a month, except for 1 month, we're going to have to do 2. And I think we're saving that towards the end. But a chapter a month, we're going to be reading this together. So you're going to read it. You're going to come to the class. There will be a master class. It will deal with that particular chapter. Anything else that Dawn and I add on to that, Dawn will be teaching some of these classes. I'll be teaching some of these classes. And then we are really going to strive to give you something actionable to do out of that chapter. So maybe there is a challenge that you have to do. Maybe there's some kind of journaling that you have to do. Maybe, but it's all going to be stuff it's not busy work. It's going to be stuff within the context of your homeschooling and making yourself a better homeschool teacher. So we may ask you to, like, try teaching a lesson a different way. Try doing some journaling and some observation. Let's try this challenge. So, can 3 days this week, can we do X or Y or Z? So anyway, that's Why Don't Students Like School? And we're super excited about this series of master classes this year.
I'm really excited about this book. I think it is, Daniel Willingham has such a great reputation, and I think it'll be really exciting to read in a group and discuss and figure out how to take what he's trying to say and apply it in our homeschools. I think it's an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it hits so many of those frustrating points for moms, or dads. Like, why can't I get my kid to learn this? Why are we struggling so hard? They just don't seem to get it. And those things are not really talked about a lot in homeschooling. It's a lot of homeschooling help is emotional, and we want you to feel better and things like that. And we want you to feel better too, but sometimes we think feeling better comes from actually having some tools and some skills that you can use. It's kind of like the idea of learning to play an instrument, and it's very frustrating and isn't fun until you get better at it. So let's get better at teaching our kids so it becomes less frustrating and more fun, because we've raised our skill level as teachers.
Yeah, for sure. I think competence brings confidence. And so having a little bit of that support will do wonders. And then adding in the boot camp, adding in the planning, the dedicated planning times, these things will all coalesce to really help improve, to elevate your homeschool for this year.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. And we're super excited to be, like, we've read this, but we've never, like, done it, right? Like, worked through it. And Dawn and I have worked through other books together, and they have been some of the books that have been most impactful for me, because of those conversations that we had and those thoughts. And sometimes we think different thoughts and we say different things and we come to different conclusions, and that's kind of fun too. So you can look forward to that. So we're really, really excited about bringing kind of this new format to you, more than a book study. It's more than a book club, because there's going to be some actionable stuff coming out of it and some other things that we add to it. But we also love this idea of having a spine to go from. So 10 classes on this next year, and there is no other way to get that. So the only way to get that is through the Elevate All Access program. So just to recap, you get Finishers Club, you get the all-day planning day and the half-day planning day. You get the 2 different runs of boot camp, one in the spring and one in the fall, and you get the 10 master classes, one a month, missing a couple months through the year. And so you're only really reading one chapter at a time. So you get that as well. We're valuing that at $190. So this is $400, and we're pricing it at $190. But if you buy before December 31st, so all the way up until I cut the coupon off at $11.59 on December 31st.
Central Time.
Central Time, yes, Central Time. You can get $25 off of that. So it comes up at $165. We've got you can just pay the whole thing, or we've got 2 monthly payments. So we'll charge you half now and half a month from now. We just want to make it accessible. We know inflation's hitting everybody hard. And so we just want to, do as much as we can to make sure that people can get in. So I've told Dawn, I'm like, you know what, let's just do a coupon and do $25 off at the very beginning. But we are closing the doors no matter what on January 5th. And after that point, our first meeting is on Tuesday, January 14th. Yes. I'm looking for confirmation. Or is it the 16th? No, I can't see that far. It's the 16th. Yeah. And
yes.
If you miss a meeting, so this is another question that comes up a lot, is I'm just verifying that date for you guys.
The 16th.
Yes, the 16th.
4 Eastern, 3 Central.
Yeah, 4 Eastern, 3 Central. That's right. If you miss a class, because there is a very good chance that at some point during the year you will miss one of the classes, they're largely going to be on either Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon. If you can't come live, there will be recordings available. We're going to put those in our app for you. We'll have video and audio, so you'll be able to either listen while you're doing dishes, or you're on the treadmill, or you can sit and watch it or something like that. But you'll be able to pick up any replays that you miss.
And a place to discuss if, oh, I really wanted to ask this question, but I couldn't come. You can ask them ahead. You could ask them after. There will be the ability to keep the discussion going on that chapter for the month.
Yeah, so keep that conversation going for sure on everything we covered, the chapter and the additional materials. So if you have any questions, like I said, drop it below. Send us an email, send Dawn a DM, and we will be happy to answer them for you. And we would love to see you in Elevate All Access next year. We're super excited. Actually, we've already started talking about 2025. Once we start planning something, we're like, oh, we should do this, and oh, we should do that. And so then we get too much stuff to do, and we're like, okay, we'll have to save that till next year. Oh, which brings me to, this is not a subscription. So this is not a subscription. This will not renew. You do not have to remember to cancel this or anything like that. It's just for the year. And then at this time next year, we'll come back and say, hey, it's time to go next year. And we won't let you forget. So don't worry about that, because I know subscription fatigue is a real thing these days. So this is just a one-time purchase. So yeah.
Yep.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah.
All right.
We hope to see you in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I totally hope to see you in there. So, all right. Thanks, Dawn.
Bye.